Just don't encourage him.
No.
In a nondescript-looking office in a corner of a nondescript-looking station, somewhere in Barnard's Star, a very grumpy-looking man in a sweater is glowering at the doorway. Littering said doorway is a collection of broken crockery, surrounding a number of prone bodies of orderlies who had the temerity to at some point attempt to step through it. The screens on the walls around the room have a red rectangle in the middle of them, emblazoned with white letters, spelling the word lockdown. He's not had his coffee. The deliveries have all been blocked. The laundromat hasn't pressed his clothes. His favourite aunt is still stuck over in Van Maanen's Star, as the passenger liner she was taking her month-long pleasure cruise in has been barred from entering the Barnard Star system. No one is listening to his instructions anymore, and all he can hear are pirate shanty songs over the local CB radio. He's absolutely fuming. What's more, someone has left his entertainment system tuned to Hutton Orbital, and his eyes goggle out of his head, face flush an even more dangerous shade of red, and his knuckles go white as he grips the one remaining unbroken mug at hearing the words,
"Our mics are live."
Good evening, from a slightly more peaceful orbital studio this week. It looks like all the armoured personnel from the last war have decamped somewhere else.
You mean I dressed up specially like this and there's no war anymore?
I was looking forward to trying out all this new gear. I mean, what am I going to do with all these weapons now?
Could try cooking your dinner with that plasma rifle.
Tried that. The crockery just wasn't the same ever again.
I don't need a gun. I've got a pan.
Ouch. And a fearsome implement that is too. That's left a bump. Ow. Well, I suppose we ought to catch up on the news headlines. Maestro, the bong, please.
Banter goes from Odin to no chin.
Now you know how Alex does it. Why not give it a try?
Technology gives us a new walking stick.
But it doesn't give us his new pictures in each time.
The Hutton Biathlon? Yeah, dream on.
Hanky gets 0-star reviews.
Shoulder pads? They're so 3308.
We take Barnard's Star very seriously. We're Dyson with death.
And news of community-led events.
And I've just lost all of my microphone.
That was seamless.
I just lost everything. Just
Good
died on me.
I'm glad it was you. I thought I'd gone deaf.
Let's see what
Me too. I've still got ringing in my ear.
Let's see what happens when I
Somebody
do
said
this. Let's see if
something.
I do
thought it was
this.
something
Hang
wrong
on.
with my mic.
I do that.
Oh,
Oh look.
we got the wibbles back.
Oh yes. Look at that. And we got a picture. I just had to restart everything. Okay.
Bong.
Bong. Oh yes, it's me, Commander Banter, the stalwart who's been on board Hutton before Hutton was Hutton, when Hutton was just somewhere a long way away. Mug creator, powerhouse behind almost all that we do. The metaphorical long-lasting batteries that power the Hutton rabbit. Sorry, bunny. Has changed. sporting his all-father beard, resplendent with its rat's nests and samples of his last few hundred meals, which has grown over many months. He cut a splendid figure on remote calls. From his perspective, he was a sober, imposing character. From everyone else's point of view, he was a man hiding the bottom half of his face behind a poorly maintained sheep. And they could only hope that the thing moving in the centre of all that hair was his mouth, and not the back end of the sheep. Something had to go. Something had to change. Something had to be organised. Banter's hand is never far from the handle of the charity bucket, always prepared to rattle it to make money for one or another, or where possible both, of our favourite charities. Banter decided to terminate 2 avians with 1 missile and remove enough weight from his chin so that he could once more hold his head upright, while simultaneously putting a spring in his step by raising money for charity. And so, after much knocking on doors, asking for help, and stealing of nerves, the fateful day arrived, and with over 1,500 credits plus tax rebates at stake, he was committed. First came the hedge trimmers, then the blowtorch, then the scythe, and before everyone's eyes, Vantian had the ears stripped from him. Within a few minutes, the wild man of Borneo, Hutton, slipped back to his time as Victorian-era spring-heeled Jack, and thence to a youthful, fresh-faced look, which his wife has described as disturbing but invigorating. The people who will be helped by the money Vantian has raised by this action say, "Thank you, babyface." Everyone else is busily looking up how fast facial hair can grow back.
Several times over a few weeks, we've mentioned Alex Zuno's magnum opus, which, despite the sound, is not a large Irish cat, but a comprehensive guide to being effective at fighting pirates, thus gaining glory, credits, and the adulation of your fellow pilots. The good news is that the first draft is now complete, covering all aspects of ships, loadouts, locations, and techniques. Whether you're a novice wanting to have a good start at PvE, or an experienced pilot who just can't believe the vast numbers that Alex ratcheted up week after week, there's something for everyone. If you've looked at this guide in weeks past, then it's time to revisit it, as the first 2 sections have been extended, and there's a whole new page that's been added recently. If you're a new pilot and want to learn the best way to fight pirates right from the start, then again, this is the place to go. Alex has been very generous in sharing her knowledge, which has been hard-won over a very long time, and I think she'd find the most fitting thanks for all this hard work would be for pilots to take this on board and create new and better records for bounty hunting. So read, learn, apply, and you too could have your name spoken with awe week after week in the Hutton Sports Report. All of this awaits at https://iniv.space/hunter.
In the galaxy there are many rare goods, most of which Aemilia has shoved into her mouth for one reason or another. The newest one, however, would not be a suitable candidate for oral ingestion. It's a stick. A walking stick. Now, when we say a walking stick, you might be thinking of the sort that's hewn from hazel or chestnut or even blackthorn, which provides support for the weary traveller on long hikes, can be used to poke at snakes, or used to tell the time or work out the height of a pyramid if you know how far away Cairo is, or something like that. But no. Here we're looking at a different kind of support. Support for the ego in the form of a space selfie stick. Now don't all go running off to check. You won't currently find your selfie stick listed on the loadout for any of your suits, nor can you buy one from Pioneer Supplies, because every suit comes equipped with the same model, the Selfie Masterette Junior. This is a basic model that has an easy extending mechanism that allows for photographs from great distances at one moment, and then fails at 10 centimeters from your face in another direction, seemingly lowering a modesty veil so that it's unable to see what you're doing. And if you've ever tried doing anything in a spacesuit that would require the use of a modesty veil, you'll know that the only likely outcome is a sprain and a very hard to explain bruise. We understand that engineers will soon be able to upgrade the selfie stick, allowing for aerial shots from such majestic height that you'll be almost invisible. You'll be able to cry, "I can see my house from up here!" and you'll need to post a warning for low-flying spaceships in the area. Rival companies say that the selfie stick is just a relic of the past, and the time has come for a forward-looking way of everyone being able to show off their latest biological samples or sunset when it reaches just the right shade of pink. "Prepare to be freed from the stick" is their slogan, and they have shown a concept model of a camera that can easily be removed from the suit, placed on a rock, and, wait for it, you can press a button and then have 10 seconds to scamper back, smile, try to face the right direction, show your indecision as to whether you should be crouching or not, ask anyone else in the vicinity, "Does that light look like it's blinking to you?" Then seamlessly add another great shot to your collection of natural-looking poses of people in spacesuits with their eyes closed.
Commander Infinite Dreamer threw the metaphorical cat amongst the pit thought experiment pigeons this week as he postulated that there should be a second Odyssey-enabled stage for commanders attempting the Hutton run. He envisaged starting the clock at the same time as usual, i.e. as soon as you exit hyperspace in the vicinity of Alpha Centauri, but not to stop it as you dock at Hutton. Instead, to finish as you down your first drink, reminiscent of the scene from Ice Cold and Alex, where our heroes celebrate a very long, tiring and hot journey with an ice-cold beer, except that space is a lot colder than fridge temperatures, and any drink that cold would freeze your insides before they shatter. And we're also not sure who Alex is. It's a nice idea, but we can think of a few problems. 1.tab. There would be an unfair advantage for anyone who flew a ship where the disembarkation point was closer to the hangar door. 2.tab. The bartender doesn't actually serve drinks. We suspect there's another person who does, but they're of diminutive height and we can't see them over the counter. 3.tab. Antares Fusion, keeper of the Hutton Helper Hamsters, tells us that the barman is a very shady character who never writes anything down on principle, so there'll be no record of you reaching the bar other than your selfie, and who's got time to keep looking at all those photos? 4.tab. If you've had a frustrating time with padlockers, the last thing you need is to have to push your way through a crowd at the bar, all of whom are waving large credit notes in the vain attempt to grab the attention of anyone who was actually serving. 5.tab. Your mate would probably have to do the equivalent of a wing signal and get in a round beforehand, and at Hutton, keeping your eye on your pint is a full-time occupation.
We've reported in the past how King Hanky and his clones have the galaxy's largest collection of elite statuses, and that this has created a shortage in the galaxy. Now that an afternoon's mining can get you one elite, a round trip to Colonia can get you another, obviously not on Hanky's fleet carrier bus service, and although combat is harder to obtain, wise commanders know that Thargoid throttling is the most efficient way to your third. So with all that, it's necessary for something to be done about it. Well, the Pilots Federation have managed to put their heads together, have gone, "Ow, why did you do that?" Then, after taking some paracetamol, come up with a special reward scheme. Stars. Not the huge balls of gas that cause pain for those impudent enough to stare at them, or to fly too close with wax wings or a sidewinder, but those little twinkly bits of sparkly plastic that you last saw on a name badge at McThargoid's. Yes, reaching elite is not enough anymore. You need to get your stars for Trader of the Month, Most Helpful Smuggler, Least Likely to Clog Cubicle 3, and many more before you can truly say that you've achieved all that you can achieve. King Hanky, when approached for comment, merely replied, "Bugger."
Whilst some pilots are happy to spend their days lounging around in the same old flight suit that everyone else has, there are a growing number of them that have taken to being perennial dedicated followers of fashion. Not for them the drab overalls and standard freaky split-toe boots of the impoverished Sidewinder pilot. Instead, they adorn themselves with colourful onesies, stylish high-collared jackets with ostentatiously coloured sleeves and combats. Those are cargo pants for the night shift commanders, with pockets large enough to secrete an entire larder full of pocket munchings for nibbling on during radio shows. The ability, for some commanders, to now set foot into the bar for a quick liaison with an NPC or two, or throw some shapes on the dance floor to any number of tunes from the jukebox, as long as those shapes are standing upright or bobbing up and down like you've got some Karsuki locusts nibbling your bum, has meant that tailors throughout the galaxy have been hard at work putting their late spring 3307 collections together. From Desert Chick through to High Plains Grifter, complete with wide-brimmed hat, you can now accessorize your high-tech, highly expensive survival suit in just about any way you like. Except, of course, if you're a fan of shoulder pads. Shoulder pads are right out. They're not trendy. Try to apply your decal to your American football-esque reinforced tackling protection, and the holopaint will end up hovering in space. What's more, there appears to have been a bit of a mix-up, and for those identifying with the female form, just about anything for the top half appears to be totally invisible. Of course, thanks to high-G protective undergarments, many blushes from all parties have been spared, and, of course, the Pilots Federation are looking into it as a matter of importance. Mucky lot. We are reassured by the cognoscenti of the world of fashion that 3308 will be the year of the shoulder pads, the Dynasty Dominator, the retro 80s Artemis, and of course the new romantic Maverick variants will be all the rage. Just as soon as they can work out how to attach the oversized elements to your shoulders without resorting to a nail gun, superglue, and lots of Velcro.
The security lockdown that was pending for Barnard Star took hold on Friday and is still in effect, reducing Hutton influence to a paltry 25%. Excuse me. So turn in Hutton bounties in Barnard Star, and don't forget, you can earn these in any Hutton system. 4 of the other 6 Barnard Star factions are busy squabbling in wars, so the opportunity to increase Hutton's influence is almost nil, until of course the toys are collected, put back in their various prams, and Teddy is retrieved from the corner and his arms and legs are stitched back on. Not the head though, otherwise they'll never learn. This week, floundering at the shallow end alongside Barnard Star are last week's joint losers Ross 671, recovering from a pirate attack, and Kakari. Alpha Centauri staggered over the 40% threshold like a paralytic newlywed after recovering from last week's not-so-serious megacorporation challenge. And no, that's not a new holoscreen game show. Happily and finally, Hutton lost the war in the Aspellini system and withdrew disgracefully, but all is not lost as we have another war in somewhere else we don't want to be. Carson and Ari, the long-stay hotel from which we don't seem able to ever leave, is giving Hutton an opportunity to express checkout, and on the bright side, I won't have to think of a new hotel gag each week. If you want to be certain of a Hutton defeat, and the right answer is yes, you do, then fight for Carson and Ari Limited against Hutton, which will push us into the departure lounge. Let's hope we don't fall asleep in the toilet and miss the flight. In addition to Barnard Star, there is only one other adverse state in Hutton space, and that's the civil unrest in Wolf 359. Have supplies of the Don's moustache wax been hijacked again? Who knows? Anyway, redeem Hutton bounties, or combat bonds for that matter, at Hutton-controlled stations in the Wolf 359 system. During the week, pirate attacks were swiftly dealt with in Wolf 124 and Treppin, so well done to the truckers who reacted quickly and decisively to those. At the top end of the Hutton System League, 8 systems are above 60%. That's a third of them. Come on, guys, how hard is between 40 and 60 to remember? How about 50%, give or take a bit? Is that easier? Custodians, get a grip of your systems, call for help, where and when needed. We're not in expansion yet, but we will be, just wait. Meanwhile in Colonia, Grand Paladin Hanky asked that truckers work for Hopcolin Pythias to win the election there and generally boost Hopcol influence in ECP and Tier. We still need to leave Hotel Carcinari, where other factions are complaining to the hotel management and trying to have us evicted. At last! Priorities this week: if you want to truck something, boost Hutton influence of the lowest 4 systems mentioned earlier, including Ross 671, particularly Alpha Centaur as it recovers from the war. If you want to shoot something, kill pirates and turn in the bounties at Barnard's Star to shorten the lockdown, and also in Wolf 359 to shorten the civil unrest. We still need to leave Carcinari, so fight for Carcinari Limited against Hutton.
This is Norma Snockers, bringing you the latest information on community-organised events from around the galaxy. The Comfy Cannon cruise, organised by Commander Mephisto, has passed the halfway point of the Fleet Carrier assisted visit to all of the 124 waypoints of the Cannon Challenge, and it's taking a very short breather. Commander Mephisto tells us, in the 12th week of the Comfy Cannon cruise, nothing noteworthy happened, but travelling will resume on the 7th of June, so expect more tales then. Details of the rest of the cruise are at https://bit.ly/comfycanoncruise. The Artemis Biological Survey, which will travel round the inner Orion Spur in search of new biological features and exceptional geological formations, is making the last preparations for tomorrow's start. If you hurry, you might just be able to get to the Baratheona system, where the fleet carrier DSN Phileas Fogg will leave in about 1 hour's time at 9 PM UTC to bring you Vale West Sector DLY D68 ready for the off. Events over the next few days: Friday 4th of June 1930 UTC, Expedition Start Party in Vale West Sector DLY D68. 21:30 Fleet Carrier departure from Vale West Sector DLY D68 to Seagull Sector DLY D3. Sunday 6th of June 1930 UTC, mass jump from Seagull Sector DLY D3 system. Details, including their Discord, being operated jointly in English and in French, can be found at bit.ly Artemis Survey 2. Remember that the rescheduled Texan Lacon massacre will go ahead on the 12th of June at 2100 BST, 2000 UTC. In this event, pilots will be taking Type 7s into the Hazves in Wolf 1481 to act as pirate bait. Each T7 will be escorted by 2 small and 1 medium ships. The goal is to defend the T7 while it mines and racks up some bounties with the escort ships, and our very own apology officer will be one of those brave pilots, souls. Come on then, pirate with an unlikely or amusing name if you think you're hard enough. Details are on our Facebook events page. We have told you before, so don't say we didn't warn you. The July 14th Hanky Party is getting ever closer, celebrating his 6th fleet carrier. Schedule on our Facebook events page. And that's all the news that we have on community-led events. Flossy will be along later to update us on events organised by the Pirates Federation.
And we're back in the studio. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be, sitting in the comfy chair. And
who's this imposter?
Yeah.
As they say, well, I've
I
missed
don't
you.
even recognise my own face.
You've
Sounds
taken
familiar.
you've taken Beardy Guy's seat.
What have you done with David?
Yeah. I've missed you. Must get
You're not
these sights
related to that
adjusted.
Cecil
I'm,
chap, are you?
I'm slightly less muffled now than I was before, yeah.
Smells the same.
Bring back
Thank God
Gandalf.
for that.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't. The chin does feel. The first thing I suppose I'm going to say is thank you so much to everybody who donated to the charity. Obviously, I did something silly and looked stupid on camera for a bit, but everybody else was generous and gave some of their hard-earned pennies to the charity. So, thank you so much to everybody who donated, including the usual nutters who were told, oh no, they were told off, but they were told they were glorious, glorious nutters. But oh my goodness. So yes, thank you very much, one and all, to those who donated. And also joined me live on the stream on Sunday, which just about worked. It didn't go out to Facebook like it was supposed to. It went out to Twitch and didn't go to YouTube either. But so thank you, everybody. And my face does
Seamless.
feel weird. Yeah, feels very, very, very strange. I've given myself stubble rash twice. I haven't had stubble in 10 years. This is very, very strange. But, having told me that she did not approve of the really, really big beard, Mrs. 21 has also told me she does not approve of me being clean-shaven either.
Women.
So I have to find a happy middle ground somewhere.
Which is?
I don't know, half my face bearded and half, I don't know. It's
A
just,
moustache.
No, we saw the moustache one. Then that's
that looked like a dodgy computer game plumber or something, didn't it?
Was it unconscionable?
It was an unconscionable moustache, yes.
Yes.
Try saying that one after a couple of gins. And
Did you see
was,
after a couple of chins?
I've discovered I've got a couple hiding under that beard as well.
That's good.
Yes.
Always good to have a spare. You can keep food in there.
Yeah, and Ali from Special Effects says I'm a spoil sport because I banned Ali from sending. Because they're wonderful over there at Special Effects. They send little letters out after you do any fundraising activities, and I said, look, just save the pennies for goodness sake, go digital. So I was called a spoil sport. Mm-hmm. But yes, I didn't realise that Ali was taking screenshots all the way through of the most gurning that I was doing during the applying the lawnmower to the chin session. But anyway, the deed is done, and it looks like it's growing back grey. So it's a bit like the new Hollow Me pictures over in Odyssey, where everybody's hair appears to have gone grey. I'm suffering with the same thing.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I told you
It's
to
already
use
great.
Veet.
So talking of that, and talking of sort of sartorial things, I mean, Aemilia, you were talking about the shoulder pads are just right out at the moment. They are not the thing at the moment.
Exactly, just right out.
But I can tell you what is in at the moment.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, more patches than a geography teacher's elbows. Yep, patches are in this season.
Okay.
Right.
Corduroy patches, denim patches, all sorts.
Oh, denim patches on your corduroy jackets and corduroy patches on your denim jackets.
Oh, stylish.
Oh,
Really stylish. But yes, it is. Obviously, was it last week we put out the usual notice to everybody how to survive a Hutton patch day or launch day, wasn't it? Which I think went down fairly well. And then we forgot to post one in the last couple of days, but there have been more patches and patches on the patches, and then even little sneaky patches later in the day when the patch didn't quite cover the hole.
Tiny little elastoplast patches.
I think.
Pardon, what?
Tiny little elastoplast size patches.
Right, and for the night shift, that's a Band-Aid that you put on your boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On both of your boo-boos.
Anybody who says we're not inclusive and multicultural here, we can translate into Merkin. That's fine.
Yeah.
In case you caught yourself on your fanny pack, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And fell off the sidewalk, usually after, once again, too many gins. So yeah, I mean, it was all launched to much fanfare, and then there was a little bit of salt, and then I think everybody missed the point completely, and tried running everything in real vision. But by plugging a couple of electrodes into a potato, you're not going to get real vision.
No.
No.
Do you know what I was thinking as well? What we didn't do that we probably should do is one of those posts with what I did during patch day, when people go, you know, pictures of themselves in a park or outside
is
or
this
reading
like
a book or, you know.
Dogs at polling booths job?
Yeah, it's along those lines. It's a kind of, okay, you don't play in patch day, so what did you do in patch day? You know, you can see people
we did that when we
up
had the big
shelves and
update,
things.
didn't we? When Odyssey went live, we did a news article all about that, finding out what people had did. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Some of them.
Yeah. Some of them. Yeah, but the sun's out now, so, you know, you could get some interesting ones of people in the park.
Maybe we should ask the chat, the listener sort of sitting there in the stream chat at the moment, what did you do on patch day?
Well, the listener doesn't go out.
No, the listener. There was a question in chat there. Did David shave his temples for charity as well? No, the monks of Van Marnen did not let me shave the temple. They like it hairy. It's a bad habit, I know. Oh dear.
Surely temple joke in there somewhere, but I can't quite put my...
Yeah.
So Commander Horny says working shades. Yes, so yeah, the one answer we've had so far is working. Well, I suppose that's a reasonable thing to do on patch day. You can earn the pennies to pay the electricity bill for that graphics card you bought.
Oh, somebody binged in Docker's episodes.
Yeah.
You poor soul.
Yes.
Anybody affected by this?
I hope you enjoyed it.
Luis on the keyboard says, I binged. Maybe binged. I think that's probably binged. You binged. I binged on Docker's episodes. No, that's bonged on the Hutton Radio show and binged on Docker's episodes. I mean, that's a perfect... There's plenty of them, I think, aren't there? There's at least 3.
There's lots.
There's loads. There's only 3 of the Beyond Dockers.
Oh, right. Yes,
the original Dockers. Yeah.
Original Dockers, though. Lots.
Oh, there you are. Texas Stew met Shirley Temple once.
Name dropper.
Yeah. Didn't shave her, though.
The lives of the rich and famous. Yeah, how the other half lives. 3 seasons. I don't know how many seasons of Shirley Temple one might have. Anyway, so yeah, and there are all sorts of tips and tricks and all sorts to making things run smoother. And actually, there was one earlier, the public service announcement. Dun, 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 dun. It appears, as of this week, that there is a little tweak you can do to make things run faster if you've got legs. And that doesn't involve being chased by rabid dogs.
We're never chased.
If you know where your bindings are, and all Hutton listeners know where your bindings are, because we've told you every patch for the last 6 years how to back up your bindings. So near there, if you go back one step, there's one called graphics before bindings, and in there are loads and loads of files. And there is a hint that if you're having a really, really, really bad time, if you remove and back up all the files in there, graphics configuration, override, and all that kind of stuff, and stuff them somewhere else, and then fire up the game, it'll recreate them. And then you set your graphics up the way you want it, and people are reporting enormous boosts in frames. There you go. High frames. There are details on it. I think there's an optimization post by Frontier or the Pilots Federation, but there's also loads on the forums and all sorts. But have a look at that folder, strip it out, run the game, and then set your graphics up, and you might find all of a sudden it goes really, really smooth. Like my chin. What else? So what else has been going on while I've been away? I mean, did you lot set fire to the orbital?
No, who told you that? We were never there. We were never there. It was like that when we got there.
I heard there was fighting in the corridors, and there was Flossy was panning Sirius pilots around the back of the head every time they disembarked. And
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
A bit of slap and tickle.
Yeah. Bit of slap and pan.
Yes. So I mean, what was going on? Bring me up to speed. Sirius?
Yeah, Sirius started the war to take over the orbital.
That's a bit antisocial. Haven't Sirius got an engineer or something that we refused to take over a few years back?
Yeah, Marco Quent or something, isn't it, in Sirius? Yeah, nobody wants him.
Okay. Aemilia, could you take a note for us? Marco Quent is off the Christmas card list.
No U. So it's QWENT. Doesn't have a U in it, weirdo.
Right. Yeah, off the Christmas card list. Yeah, not sending anything.
What about birthdays?
No, right out. No, definitely not.
Right out? Okay.
No. Just cross Marco Quent out. completely
Just a
in
big
the book.
X.
He's as
A
far,
big black line through it.
he's
you know.
he's as out as shoulder pads. That's how out he is.
Yeah. Well, so we're not talking to Sirius anymore.
Yeah.
No.
He was always very serious.
But they were very naughty. So we won, did we?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we're still here and we haven't been evicted tells me
Emphatically, we won 4-0.
4-0.
4-0. And we didn't even have to bribe the referee this time.
Oh well, fair enough. And then so from the news, Commander Chix, there's something going on in Barnard's Star. You don't just get into lockdown by coincidence.
No, well, there's been a lot of shenanigans going on in Barnard's Star.
Has someone been naughty?
Yes, some tiny,
maybe.
Yes, it's the one. It's not 11. 11? Is it 11?
No, it's one less than that.
Yes, it's one less than 11. It's the 10th fleet. And it stems from a general decline in Barnard's Star. To be fair, we've rarely been above 40% since the start of the year. It's just got worse and worse. We had a little war.
I mean, they're being naughty. Do we know what kind of naughty? I mean, are they leaving the toilet seat up or not putting the stuff in the dishwasher? What kind of naughty are we talking?
Well, we're kind of squeezing the toothpaste from the middle, kind of naughty.
Oh, and leaving the milk out the fridge.
That's really bad. Yes.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, and breathing on the orbital windows and then writing rude words in it backwards so that pilots, when they come into land, see it.
That's right, but we've got ourselves into a position where we're down to 25%. And what we really need to do, we need to be up at 50, so all the other 6 factions can squabble amongst themselves all they like and start as many wars as they want. And it won't bother us, but until we do that, but first thing we've got to do is get unlocked. We need to end lockdown now.
End lockdown now. Is that our slogan?
It is.
Hell no, lockdown go.
That's
or
right.
No, something like that.
So
no,
we
we
can
want
do
to
that
go.
by handing in bounties at any of the stations in any of these.
Galaxies and Lion Bars will not do.
Because all... is that Barnard Star Wall 359?
Plain chocolate bounties and milk chocolate bounties.
Make sure
What
it's a
about topics?
Hutton-controlled station where you handed them in.
Yeah.
Now,
Topics
there is.
get nuts,
Do
but
not
don't
use. Yeah, do not use a kill warrant scanner.
No.
Do not hand in bounties for other people that you accidentally get. When you hand in bounty, there's 2 sides to collecting bounties. There is the pew pew blowing up the other guys who are naughty, and that affects the security slider, and then the handing in affects the influence. So the best bounties, the ones harvested in system, because they improve our security as well as improving our influence. And then second best is harvest them somewhere else and hand them in the system.
Yeah.
There is a high res site about 3,000 light seconds in from the jump point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the cops will help you. The Hutton cops are very good. They will help you there.
In a high res, yeah.
Yeah. If somebody picks on you, Hutton cops will turn up and shooty them. Lovely team.
Or even better, wait till they pick on somebody and then shoot them once before they die and you get the bounty.
Yeah, and I've noticed that the payouts are quite good these days. I mean, I got 500,000 for an eagle.
Well, they buffed
Who was in it?
Our bounties were buffed about, where are we now? June. About 4 months ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, 500,000 for an eagle's not bad in my
Pretty
book.
good. Yeah.
Who was flying that eagle? The Pope?
I have no idea, but they must have been super wanted.
Yes.
Howard Hughes.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is, lockdowns aren't quick things to remove, are they, in big systems? They do take days and days. Infrastructure failures you can clear up in 24 hours, outbreaks, a bit of medicine, rub something on it, that's gone.
It's been running for a week now, so,
Yeah.
6 days. The other problem we have is once we've cleared the lockdown, there are 2 other wars going on, and I think when I looked, that leaves, apart from us, that leaves about 16% of the influence that's not locked up in a war. So we're not going to increase the influence very quickly once the lockdown is over, until the other 2 wars are over.
No, once the lockdown's over, obviously data, something like a nice big data drop. If there are any explorers listening...
Take a big dump in Barnard Star.
Yeah, take an enormous dump in Barnard Star in a couple of days' time. So save it all up. And then, yes.
Yep. If you can hold it.
Well, yeah. Or take the kind of medication that leaves you... Yeah, anyway. The kind you take before you go to Glastonbury Festival, so you won't need to go while you're there.
What's that? An enema.
Yes.
Can't believe I just said that.
And yes, that
Trade secrets.
I've just had a wee
Is that
moment
a wee?
of... Yeah, it's a Scottish wee, it's okay. I've had a wee moment of realisation there. I've got a big mouse thing here with a map of the world on it. And at one point I thought it had crumbs on it. I went to sweep them away and I discovered it was the Falkland Islands I was trying to sweep away.
That's
You and Galtieri.
Yeah, no, they're very close to Argentina, I'll have to say that. But there you go. Yeah, so I've stopped sweeping away the Falkland Islands now. I've left them where they are.
Anyway, so Barnard Star needs some TLC. Good, nice shot, Flossy. Right in the ear.
And anyway, and Mr. Palantir.
Yes.
I understand. I mean, the last week was seamless.
It sort of was, yes. Well, yes, there was a seamless bloody great hole in it. Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm talking. I mean, you actually invented time travel in the forward direction.
Yes, I did. Yes, we had a last minute panic just before within 1 minute of us going live, when the countdown was going off, we had a problem where Helen's computer blue screened, and we frantically trying to work out who's going to read out what line, assuming she wouldn't get her machine up again. And then I suddenly noticed, oh poo, we're onto the new screen and there's dead air. Let's say something. Start reading the script. Oh, and I should have done this, scrolled it back up to the beginning of the script before I did that, instead of starting from page 2 where I was.
It was as seamless as the beginning of today's newsreel.
Bong.
It's seamless as the beginning of every newsreel.
Today was definitely technology. Well, another version of technology. The streaming software had locked up, restarted that, and then found that the Stream Deck, the button machine with the buttons we push, that wasn't doing anything, which is why during the headlines everybody had the same picture for everything. So I had to restart the Stream Deck, and when I did that,
you didn't leave everybody with the beard all the way through, did you? Because that would just be frightening.
No,
that's fine.
No, it was actually it was something a bit more innocuous, but everybody had that where we read out the headlines, and I thought, I've got to do something before we move into the proper news. I had to restart the Stream Deck, forgetting that as soon as I did that, the music would stop. So everybody should sit down and we'll take a chair away. Or you could or if you could always take another layer off the present. See if it's your turn.
Yeah. Now, Flossy. I did see a message the other day, which meant I was very surprised to hear quite how large your bit was. Because there was a message all over the forums the other day saying Distant World 3 is cancelled. That means there are going to be no more large community events ever.
Oh.
Which struck me as either hyperbole or the person writing it clearly doesn't listen to your section of the news.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I'll have to have a look at that. Put them straight.
Well, absolutely. Oh, dear. Yes, I mean, talking about the Artemis Biological Survey, because they're looking at the new kind of biological features, aren't they? Not the ones we all know about, the previously existing ones. These are looking at the new space cucumbers and space loofahs and, yeah.
Yeah, and they've changed their route to take into account the new things you can do with Odyssey that weren't there before. And I was speaking to the leader of the expedition earlier today. I'm finding out that I actually made a mistake in the previous weeks when we talked about it being the Biological Survey 2. The reason there was a 2 on the end is because of their server is in French, and it automatically translates to English and shoves a 2 on the end of every page. So it is actually the Artemis Biological Survey, not 2. But the link I'd already set up on Bitly had the 2 on, and Artemis Survey was already taken, so I figured I'd just leave it as it was. The link still works.
Talking of Flossy and I went on holiday there.
Oh, yes, we were. Yeah,
we did. We were heading, and Flossy says, which planet shall I head to? And I said, And she's, what? And I said, Duh. And I wasn't being rude to Flossy. The planet we were pointing at was called Dur. D-U-R. Dur. Yeah. So we landed on Dur, and we did stuff on Dur, and then I got abandoned on Dur. I think I died on Dur as well. But yes, there is a planet called Dur. We might have to send people there who ask silly questions.
Yes.
Duh.
Dur. Yeah. It's a pretty dull planet, actually, isn't it?
I think you'll find it's pronounced Dure.
Yes. Dure.
Oh,
Or in Scotland it's pronounced Dure.
If somebody is from Dur, are they Dur X?
Duh.
I prefer my pronunciation.
D-U-R. Duh.
Duh. Yeah.
Or as the as the apology officer would say, ons.
Ons.
Ones, yes.
Ons.
Ons. Yeah.
I'm going to try that one in future. It might work.
So in my notes here, I've got Frontier livestream ?
Well, that's always there.
We put that as a regular thing from the week
To remind us.
Yes, from one of the weeks when you were away. We got through the banter. We were talking about all sorts of stuff, and we thought, right, okay, we finished that.
It's gone now.
And we got to the end of the show and realised we hadn't talked about the live stream, so we had another 10 minutes of that at the end of the show. So this is to remind us not to leave it till the end.
It's been there for weeks.
It's there every week.
They've had one.
Well, I
every
haven't
week.
been here for weeks. I've been missing in action.
See how things move on. The technology gets better when you.
You see, I come back and I find that the Frontier live stream immediately preceding our bit was CQC.
Ah, well, that was. Yes. So you can talk about either. Now, on Tuesday, Zach and Sally were on, and it was the community corner, whatever they call it.
What do you call it?
Commander
Super Cruise
Creations.
News. No, Commander Creations. Ah, right.
Yeah, so they talked a bit about the roadmap that's coming out tomorrow.
But there's a roadmap?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Haven't they heard of SatNav?
Which way's north?
Galnav? Which
I mean,
way's
do you have
up?
to hold it the right way up so you don't get lost?
Apparently so.
I'm
They
saying
seem to
nothing
be
about
in
that,
the
'cause
thing.
That's the sort of thing that will get half the population in trouble by mentioning who has to turn the map the right way up.
God, I remember that time on the A20.
I mean, roadmaps do seem to be the in thing these days.
Yeah.
It's a plan. We have a plan.
Now, I do understand when it comes to giving directions, though, that the Untitled Kingdom and our friends down under are the only two countries in the world. I've been told the only two countries in the world that give all of the directions by pubs. Turn left at the Green Man, go straight down the road until you see the King's Head, and then turn right just after the Crown and Anchor.
Have they still not cleared that head up?
What? Pardon?
Have they still not cleared that head off the road? King's Head?
No. Oh, God.
Whitehall.
But anyway, yeah. So yes. I mean, maybe the entire roadmap is going to have pub directions on it. That'll be, turn left at the bar, go up the steps, turn right at Apex Taxi, and then down the other steps to Vista Genomics.
I've heard a rumour that in Scotland they navigate by police stations. Is there any
You
truth in this?
racist bastard.
It's the same as me, apart from being ginger.
I think
Oh,
a
no.
lot.
We're being issed. Oh dear, we're being terribly
isted,
issed.
yes.
Yeah, we're being
Yeah,
issed.
you've been
Yep.
isted.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway. No, I think in Scotland we measure distance and time. You know, so nothing's half a mile away, it's 5 minutes.
well, if it's half a mile away, it's like 3 hours away, the other side of the lock.
Well, I thought it was measured in London buses.
No,
was
in London
Wales,
it's
isn't it?
mentioned in London it's measured in London buses because you can count them.
Right.
They're bigger these days.
I mean, Hutton Orbital is sort of 30 London buses long.
Is it?
Yes.
What like bendy
Wow.
buses, or are these single deckers or double deckers? What are these
Bendy
hydrogen
buses?
fueled, or are these the old diesel ones? No.
I mean, I don't know. Is there a standard length to a London bus?
I think there is. I think
Oh,
the
there
new,
is. It's a
the
London
new
bus.
curvy ones are called London buses, aren't they? There.
The Boris buses.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining 30 buses lined up at Hammersmith bus station. All the way, yeah, wow, the Broadway.
That's about one Hutton, I think.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
telling me? Wow. So every
So
time
there
I
you
look
go.
at Hammersmith bus station now, I'll think of Hutton Orbital.
Every time you look at Hammersmith, it'll make you think of Hutton Orbital.
Yes. That must have been every time I go to the household recycling centre, I think of Hutton Orbital as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Every time I go down to the bin store, I think, Hutton Orbital.
Cubicle 3. Yeah. So roadmap by optimization and performance. We spoke about that one. Commander Creations. Oh, Commander Creations. Another Beetlejude video.
Yes, it's very good. She was drawing. Another way we've seen it before. She did when she did Flossy's Pink Conda. So she narrates.
That's a euphemism, isn't it?
Certainly sounds like one.
So she narrates a drawing she's doing. She did a very nice. I think she did 2 actually, because I was flicking in and out. I was just listening to it as I was zapping weeds.
That's also a euphemism.
I was doing some drive-by gardening. So she was doing her Guardian site chalk drawing. So and it was funny because Zach says to Sally, "Well, we'll be quiet so you can hear Jude talking." Then about 30 seconds in, he said, "I can't hear audio," and I thought, "Well, stop talking then." But anyway, if you want to support Beetlejuice, go and look at her drawings on her YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, it was a few weeks ago. Okay, a couple of months ago now. She did that one for me. That beautiful one of the purple python in front of the shining star there, and it was stunning work. I have to say, one very, very talented individual. And Mr. Palantir.
Yes, I have a Oh, that didn't work. Hang on.
You have you didn't work.
Yes. No, it's all right. And I have let's see if that works. I have
Oh, he's got to put it on the screen.
Yes, I'm going to if I get the right.
Look, everybody.
No, that didn't work. No, I'm going to try and put it on the screen. Oh, that. Never mind. Anyway,
for our listener, just describe it with words.
What, Beetlejuice
paint.
Jude could actually draw it faster than you.
Yes, Jude did do a very nice drawing of my brother-in-law, Savage Gardener, Commander, which has been a nice link in there to what you were saying. Yeah, and no, that's Savage Beardy. Let me see.
Do not savage the gardener, okay? Not at least until they finish the lawn.
That's better. I got the wrong.
Oh, you've got it. You've got it up, have you?
I will, as it were.
Yes.
I will do. Now,
for those of you listening in audio land, there's a lovely picture on the screen right now of a gentleman to the left of the picture.
They're not on my screen.
In his spacesuit.
No.
Wait a second.
If that's your brother-in-law, I've got questions.
Wait for it. Come on. It's going out on the stream. It's piercing in the way at the moment, but it'll go away. There we go.
Oh, it will go away. Yeah. There we go.
This time. Yes. And
are you in a prison, David?
Yeah. Is that Dartmoor?
That was, yes.
Parkhurst?
Alcatraz.
Yes.
Well, I commissioned Jude to do this for his 60th birthday, which was this
that's
weekend.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And when his daughters saw the picture, they thought that she'd photoshopped his face in there instead of actually drawing it. It's absolutely incredible. And that's an A3 one, and he went home with it. That best birthday present I've ever got him, I think.
Yeah, that is excellent.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, look, if you do love Beetlejude's work, search for Beetlejude's YouTube channel, and you'll see an awful lot of these actually being drawn time-lapse drawings in a lot of cases. And just watching a true artist work like that is an absolute joy. But there are interviews with a lot of the people who get the pictures. There are interviews that go over the top of it as well, explaining what's in the picture or the reasons behind the picture too. And it reminds me of watching Tony Hart back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she did that one for me, that was fantastic. The one she did for me, I've got that it's up on the wall right next to me now.
And thank you very much, Commander Chix. You have pasted the link into the stream chat. Yes. So coming up is the rest of the show in a bit. Before I sort of introduce what's going to be coming up next, has anybody got any other business?
No.
Oh, I've got one more.
Oh God!
We're going to have a new.
Sounds like Columbo then, didn't he?
A new joiners, the radio team.
Just one more thing.
There's one more thing. There'll be a new member of the radio team joining in about 4 weeks.
Can I give him a clue?
Go on then. Yes. Puppies!
Yeah, heavy breathing and then shouting puppies, possibly not the best introduction.
Please don't Google that.
Yes.
That was Giller, it wasn't me.
Yeah,
certainly don't Google pink nose.
Here at Hutton, we are dog people.
Yes.
We are most definitely dog people, apart from the apology officer, who's a bear person.
Yes.
I'm a cat person.
Yes.
Dogs are nice and faithful and look after you. Cats do not give a shit, which
They
I
do
like
in my
cats.
plant pots.
they do at all the wrong places, yes. But no,
Two gigantic bear dogs in my family now.
but brand new puppy Bodhi will be joining me in my little corner of the studio. Bodhi is only 4 weeks old at the moment, but in 4 weeks' time, Bodhi will be 8 weeks old, and he'll be allowed to come and stay at my house.
Yes.
And he's very, very adorable. And I might even share a picture, or maybe next week's show or something.
And Angus gets a wee brother.
Angus does, and Alvin will get a new friend to play with him, and Alvin comes to visit as well. So, yes, I went and saw a litter of 8 adorable puppies earlier in the week, and just went, oh, for quite a while. Because they're just adorable when they're adorable generally, but particularly when they're only 4 weeks old, they are just you could just gobble them all up. I wouldn't recommend it.
And then you pick the one who ate the most. You thought he belongs in my house.
Yep. So you never know. But Bodhi might be coming sitting in the corner of my studio while I'm broadcasting, yipping and making noises for a few weeks. Because I can't really abandon him while I'm broadcasting. That'd be mean of me. But right, that was the last bit from me. So coming up in the show, Aemilia, before you introduce the next bit, you've got something lined up for your Galnet Rares Digest again this week.
Yes.
This one sounds dangerous.
They're all dangerous.
No, this is really dangerous.
They're all really dangerous.
Why? I don't know.
They could all kill you.
the Churbone's blood crystals were definitely dangerous. Those plants that could suck you dry, yep, definitely dangerous. The tattoo art, that was mildly dangerous.
Well, I mean, on the levels, I mean, are we going to have a level system for, how dangerous stuff is?
This is definitely out the far side of brown alert time, this one.
Yes, but in all fairness, a lot of them are like that.
Well, yes, depending on whether you have to eat them or apply them or just run away from them, screaming.
This one is I don't want to give away any.
No.
Have to listen to it.
We will do. And then Flossy, you've got a little bit of an update on some CGs coming up in a little bit as well.
I have, yes.
I understand there are some twirly moustaches in this one. I'm jealous.
Are there?
Yeah. Is Jupiter the one with the twirly moustache?
Oh, yeah, probably.
The evil Jupiter Rochester, and a bit more detail on the evil Jupiter Rochester. And then we've got an unlikely sports report.
It's not unlikely at all. It's entirely likely.
No, the sports are unlikely.
The sports are fine. All the events completely makes sense.
They do when you translate them. Yes, from the original Scottish.
How dare you? I'm shocked.
We're being ist again, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then what else have we got? Well, Aemilia, you can introduce the bit that I've not spoken about yet, and then we'll move on to the rest of the show.
Okie dokie. Well, it's been an interesting time once more this week, and I, for one, can't wait to hear what Commanders Beetlejude and Witherspoon have managed to make of it all. Over to you, Galnet News Team.
Galnet News Digest, 3rd of June 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, Mahan makes a suspicious starport.
It's the little things.
Store or exchange?
The identical engineers. Alliance Prime Minister Edmund Mahon has been accused of stealing cargo intended for the repair of damaged stations, following the announcement today that he'd build 2 starports despite only getting enough support to build 1. The Alliance Tritium mining initiative this week received relatively poor support, with only one tier completed. This should have meant the intended construction of 5 starports being scaled back to only 1 in LHS 2522. Yet, somehow, the Prime Minister has managed to announce the construction of 2 starports by the 25th, the other being in Sharrow Sector FW-W C1-19. Where did he manage to find the materials for this second starport? And on the same day that the Prime Minister's appeal started, on Thursday last week, all the materials intended to repair the Thargoid-damaged starport at Artemis Lodge vanished, and remains unaccounted for. Is this a coincidence? Or is the new Alliance station in the Sharrow sector built using stolen goods?
Commanders have been expressing their admiration for the new shipyard and outfitting interfaces that allow all the clutter of painstakingly engineered modules and ships to be cleared away with a single click of a button. It takes utter genius to create a system that allows you to dispose of your favourite ship without ever mentioning the word sell until it's too late, and therefore allows the Pilots Federation to build up a huge stock of once cherished engineered modules and ships that they can sell on Galbay. The Pilots Federation's reacted to the entirely unjustified criticism of the outfitting user interface by posing the question, well, how would you do it then? They may be surprised by the number and variety of answers they get.
A second round of improvements has been made for people with the Odyssey Walking About permit. Lots and lots of changes have been made to the system map and galaxy map, including the ability to view organic data. Routes can now be plotted using neutron boosts, something commanders without the Odyssey permit have been able to do for years. Apex taxis can no longer be taken to places you can't get off. You can now restock your backpack without having to board your ship. These are all valuable improvements, but it's the attention to the little details that really counts. Apex Interstellar taxi drivers have been instructed to say goodbye and let you off without a long, meaningful moment of mutual contemplation between passenger and driver. An emergency stairwell has been added to the landing pad at engineer bases, so you can always get out if you do something silly. And the mysterious black cube, believed to be the black hole he keeps in a shoebox to frighten his workers, has been removed from Zachariah Nemo, and he's been referred to an employment tribunal for his unfair working practices.
The identical engineers. The Pilots Federation has strenuously denied that the personal equipment engineers are all the same person, and they've released images that they claim conclusively show that the engineers are not only separate individuals, but they exhibit a set of quirky and engaging characteristics that make them fun to interact with. This is what the engineers looked like last week, and this is what they look like now.
If you're listening to the podcast version of this article, please imagine a row of 5 identical faces, and then imagine a row of faces all different.
There are 9 engineers capable of modifying personal equipment, including Domino Green, who is also a drug dealer, and who you get to meet by travelling 100 light years in an Apex Interstellar taxi. Jude Navarro, who won't speak to you unless you've done enough restore and reactivation missions, and who is rather fond of collecting genetic repair medicines. Kit Fowler, who likes people who sell opinion polls to bartenders. Una Laszlo, who really hates the Sirius Corporation and won't speak to you unless you're unfriendly with them. Wellington Beck, who is all about entertainment media, and Yarden Bond, who is interested in smear campaigns. And you can go and visit these engineers if you want a harder way to get engineered equipment than the zen-like process of taking Apex taxis around all the outposts of a Thursday morning.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news, so you don't have to.
what about WeBuyAnyModule.com? Or there's the popular Nick Lambert's Ship Shop.
Oh dear. I do love the outtakes from Commander Beetlejude. I really do enjoy them. Well, thank you very much, Commander Beetlejude and Commander Wotherspoon, for your wonderful rundown of everything from the Galnet news and stuff beyond as well. It makes my week listening to those two go through everything for us and turn it into something intelligible and mostly funny as well, which always lifts my day. But now something else that lifts my day is listening to Flossy tell us all about the CG news.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's Community Goals news. Last week's CG finished about halfway between tiers 1 and 2, with 583,427 tonnes of tritium mined and collected. From Galnet, there was the Pilots Federation alert. Prime Minister Edmund Mahon's request for mined tritium has concluded, paving the way for new Alliance starports. Large quantities of tritium were delivered, which will provide fuel for a civil infrastructure programme designed to increase the Alliance's presence. As part of this expansion, new Alliance starports will be constructed in these systems by the 25th of June 3307. LHS 2522 and Sharu Sector FW-W C1-19. Prime Minister Mahon, who recently re-elected by the Assembly, told the media, "The economy of the Alliance will benefit greatly from investment in expansion. These new stations will provide more opportunities for individuals and corporations alike." Pilots who mined and delivered tritium can now collect their rewards from Dublin Citadel in the Gateway system. You might have to look into Horizons to do that though, as it don't seem to be paying out in Odyssey. And this week's new CGs, 3rd to the 10th of June. Fight for core dynamics with the Silver Legal Group, or fight for Jupiter Division's survival in the Sao-Tak system. Jupiter Division is fighting for survival against the Silver Legal Group in the Sao-Tak system. Jupiter Division was formed by rogue core dynamics departments loyal to ex-CEO Jupiter Rochester. Although it was defeated in February, a growing corporatist movement within the Federation has helped rebuild its strength. A call to arms was made by Owen McKenna, the new CEO of Core Dynamics. Rochester's deranged cult must be wiped out once and for all. We are supporting our ally, the Silver Legal Group, to destroy Jupiter's Division's fleet and allow us to retake our stolen resources. The Silver Legal Group has asked pilots to support its efforts to crush Jupiter Division by handing in combat bonds at the Iron Wings of Justice megaship in the Sao-Tak system. Vice Executive Blanca Carbonell, a senior leader of Jupiter Division, broadcast this message. To all those seeking a better federation, stand up and make your voice heard. Only direct corporate rule can end government corruption. Jupiter Division must survive to lead the change. Jupiter Division has offered credit rewards to any pilots willing to help secure its existence by handing in combat bonds at the megaship Victory's Forge. Two factions have set out 7-day campaigns, which will end when the top tier is reached or early on Thursday, 10th of June. To be eligible eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at the Iron Wings of Justice megaship or the megaship Victory's Forge in the title Cyotac system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Jupiter Rochester is a deranged cult? I'm sure there's a typo in there. Anyway, thank you, Flossy. Lots of shooty for you to be able to get your hand in. Time now to go to the apology officer for the sports results.
Welcome to the Hutton Sports Report. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a Metal Mickey-style robot to blunder around in the back of your ship with hilarious consequences. This week we have the following events. The Voyager Pootling Along Exploring the Galaxy at Your Own Pace Cup. The Robbie the Robot Would 60 Gallons of Bio-Waste Be Sufficient? Champion of Champions Championship. The Can You Remove Someone's Appendix Using Only Bob and Madge the Scutters Pro Celebrity Tournament. The Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me. Actually, dead would be easier. Charity Shield. The Sir Kills a Lot Speed Up Your Robo-Jaxi Robot Wars Cup, made from bits of 1975 Mark III Ford Cortina. And the Yep, Johnny Cab is a thing now, good luck sucker, People's Choice Award. So, no cross wires, double points if you know the words to Daisy Daisy, and doing the robot dance will get you disqualified because it's, well, racist or something. Anyway, the classified results are... The Shriek, 69. Space Trash, 67. 52. Happy Moon Monkey, 91. Orange Sidewinder, 73. Leo Drac, 564. Rinswin Kimry, 489.5. Attic 2, 160. Mezar Curin, 148. Sorarm, 1073. Iron Beagle, 173. El Navio, 908. James the Fox, 582. Clackmacudden, 2. Strathpay Thistle, 3. Caledonia Braves, 1. Linlithgow Rose, 3. Wolf 359 Wanderers, 2. Haghole Caledonia Thistle, 2. Dynamo LP 525-39, 1. Alioth Alliance, 2. And that's decals there for Leo Drac, The Shriek, and Attic 2. Right, so please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a big bag of colour-coordinated fruit pastels you can lick and stick to your ship in a vaguely Huttonish shape. We have 10 Hutton runs on the books this week. These include 8 runs by 6 variants of Hankey. The fastest is Christopher Hankey, Hankey Cone 5521-Gamma, with a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 51 seconds. That puts him 1 minute and 31 seconds behind the record and in 74th place overall. The slowest of this week's crop was Panarchist, who made the trip in 1 hour, 33 minutes and 18 seconds, a mere 12 minutes and 52 seconds behind the record holder. Panarchist is in 467th place. Actually, are you waiting for your space Roomba to recharge? Have you had to ask your wife, partner or significant other or obliging neighbour to shout, "I'm sorry, I don't know that down a Pringles tube because you can't afford an Alexa"? Oh, Alexa. Yeah, so she's woken up there. I've been asking for a month with no success for the time, but now it's awake and ready to answer some questions. Well, anyway, don't sit around waiting for someone to come up with a commode bot. That's just asking for a robot revolt. Instead, why not go out into the galaxy and do wonderful things for Hutton, like buying stuff and selling stuff and shooting stuff and scanning stuff. But before you do that, why not take a moment to go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the Hutton Helper. The Cubicle 3 cleanup team and their attendant bog bots thank you. Let's face it, anything has to be better than having a restraining bolt rammed into your delicate circuitry, just when you're not expecting it. Well, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia Harkness. I think we might find that the Shrike actually does already have a decal, but the others do not. So worth a check.
Didn't show up on the list. He may have been offered one before and has not accepted.
I've just found the Shrike at number 512.
Oh, God. Well, I copied and pasted.
Yeah, well, you can't. Never mind. You can't have two. The Shrike. Sorry, but never mind.
Yeah,
nice
not,
trying
you're not
anyway.
When they Shrike or the Shriek or whatever.
No, yeah, lovely. Well, we're nearly at the end of the show, but of course we've got one of the highlights. We have the. Well, I don't know. I don't want to find an adjective for Aemilia Hawke because they will all be inadequate. Because what she does, we don't have to, and thank goodness for that. I think it's time to hand over to Aemilia Hawke and find out what personal bodily injury and degradation she's gone through this week, just for us all, in the Galnet Res Digest.
Good evening. This is Aemilia Hawke, reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. We try all the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous commodities, so you don't have to.
Tonight, I've headed to the Damna system, to a very strange Earth-like world. It's tidally locked, meaning that one side of the planet is always facing the star as it orbits, and it completes that orbit in only 20 days. The planet is listed as having an average temperature of below 0, but with the side facing away from the star never getting any direct sunlight, the average is misleading when considering the various climates. The day side of the planet is warm, covered with rich vegetation in a semicircular belt from terminator to terminator around the eclipse. It's covered in deserts that wouldn't look out of place in pictures from ancient Egypt. Rolling sand dunes cover huge areas, making way as they near the sea, or rivers, to lush grasslands dotted with groves of trees, and onwards as it gets more temperate to thick forests. The unusual nature of this planet doesn't stop with its never-ending days. The permanent daylight has allowed local plant life to grow to enormous sizes. The trees more closely resemble giant redwoods from Earth, towering high above the ground and casting shade below. It is in this shade that the Damna beetle lives out its days, and it is the shell and exoskeleton of these beetles that are the source of the rare commodity that is sold in the station high above. The beetles, as with certain scarabs found on Earth, are polymorphic, with colourful shells ranging from stripes and spots right through to rare metallic colours including gold and silver. The rarest of these colours, the metallics and their pearlescent and iridescent varieties, are the ones that command the highest prices. Single carapaces sell for upwards of 300 credits in the markets, and the rarest ones even more. When you think beetle or scarab, you think of the small creatures that can be found under rotting logs, or occasionally the horned stag beetles that frighten children. But even the largest ones on Earth are never any bigger than your palm. Not here. With big logs come even bigger beetles. They burrow in and digest rotting material from the giant trees that dot the planet, and grow to frightening sizes. The largest females are the size of a Galapagos turtle, though that shouldn't fool you. They're fast-moving, scuttling from shady patch to shady patch, their shells reflecting harsh glare of the sunlight as they pass through pools of it. Their mandibles are frightening, large enough to take your hand off at the wrist, and given the trees that they eat, more than strong enough to bite through armour. The shells, whilst beautiful, are surprisingly strong, and the larger specimens are the tank of the insect world. They have no known natural predators. The shells, well, actually their wing casings, are the prized part of these creatures, collected and turned into beautiful jewellery. The larger specimens are used for ceremonial breastplates or armour pieces. The problem is that they are very hard to find. The creatures are very long-lived, impervious to just about any toxin you can think of, tough enough to resist most weapons, and anything you could kill one with would likely ruin the shell. In fact, just about the only time they die is after they mate and lay their eggs. And this is where the danger comes in. They only lay their eggs somewhere warm. The beetles can sense heat, thermal vision, allowing them to spot the burning embers from forest fires, the warmth of rotting vegetation. When fires happen, and they often do, the beetles swarm towards them to lay their eggs on the hot earth. Of course, the beetle can't really tell the difference between the warm afterglow of a forest fire, the heat of the engine of your recently parked vehicle, your campfire, or, indeed, the body heat given out by bipedal mammals just out for an evening stroll. Hang around waiting for one of the females to lay its eggs and drop it to provide you with shiny goodies without paying enough attention, and you might just end up, they might just decide that your insides make just the right location for their progeny. You'll hear a scuttling and a scrambling, a thump, and then feel a sharp sensation as it digs its mandibles into you, and then, rather forcibly, impregnates you. After an hour or so latched onto your screaming, terrified, and horribly violated form, it will die and drop to the ground, at which point you've got two choices. 1, seek urgent medical attention, or 2, grab your valuable beetle carapace. If you choose the latter, in a matter of days your life will become like a scene from Alien, as the things inside your insides decide that they're big enough to be on the outside, and will take the shortest path to achieving that, leading to a grisly, multicoloured, iridescent, and undeniably beautiful end. The hunting party that I'm with are clad head to toe in reflective tinfoil clothing so as not to attract attention, and have lit a number of fires around the outside of our campsite. Apparently, the most important and dangerous job is keeping the fires out there warmer than anything in here. I'm Aemilia Hawke, reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest, and it may be daytime here, but I can hear a sort of scrabbling, scratching, running kind of noise from somewhere nearby. I've just realised that the laptop I'm giving is giving off an awful lot of warmth.
Run, Aemilia, quick, run. Oh, goodness gracious me. I mean, just the idea of a large badger-sized beetle chasing after you, trying to lay its eggs here. I mean, oh my goodness. Yes, you want to be cold, very cold around there.
I think you've seen the movie Alien, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
It's not pretty, and of course, you can't stop these things.
You can't.
I mean, well, you could. I mean, you know, a
not
tactical
unless
nuke.
if you want your shinies, you can.
Yeah, if you want your shinies, you just tactical nuke. Now it's dealt with. But then you've just got some burnt bits of beetle everywhere. But I mean, the worst bit is obviously that those sort of shell casings are actually they're wing covers, aren't they? And they sort of spring into the air. All of a sudden, you've got sort of giant flying badger-sized beetles. It just
will
oh
latch
my
onto
goodness.
you and lay their eggs inside you that will eat their way out of your body.
Yes, I mean, the things people do to get shinies.
I know, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I've got this line in my head right now. Like Odyssey, that planet's a bit buggy.
Oh god, yes. But
Don't have nightmares, children.
Yeah, the only good
Sorry,
bug's
I
a bug that I can
help
wear
it.
its exoskeleton as body armor. Yes, but yeah, I mean they are beautiful. I mean these iridescent shells. I mean there's something else. I mean you can see the tiny ones here on planet Earth. And they're absolutely beautiful, and they do come in, one sort of the clutch of these beetles. You get all sorts of different colours as well. I mean, you get the gold ones that are absolutely bright. Well, are they gold or golden?
They're
I suppose if you were selling paint jobs, they'd be gold or golden or goldish or something. And then there's the silver ones, and they do look like they're metallic. They do look like they're made of metal.
Yeah.
But and then there's those iridescent ones that look like it's almost like when you get like. Yeah, you get sort of like when you get oil on top of water and you get the light glistening off it. And a bit of a petrol spill on the road shortly before you try and apply the brakes and end up in the scenery. That little sheen you get.
A rainbow.
Yes. They are absolutely beautiful. And of course, the armour and breastplates and stuff they make out of these are stunning to look at.
Very, very, very stunning.
But my goodness, yeah. Being part of the hunting party that goes to find them. Yeah, and it's a weird planet too, because obviously the sun side, the day side of the planet, it is like any kind of Earth-like, but the other side is like permanent darkness and ice age territory. That is.
Yeah, it's like our moon. Our moon is tidally locked. All it does is wiggle a little, but most of the planet has one day side.
But it's tidally locked to us, but the back of it does get sun. You see.
Yeah,
We
but
just
that's
can't
what I
see
mean when I
that.
say it
Yeah.
wiggles a little. It kind of
Is that
it
why they
wiggles a
find it
little, so you-
attractive? Yeah.
Yeah, but with an orbit of only 20 days, of course. Yeah, the wiggle. I mean, it is going very, very quickly around its parent star, which isn't
Super
that hot
fast.
either. Yes, but crikey, the places they send you on your holidays, eh?
I know, right?
Yes, it's. I mean, I was trying to work out how many light years you travelled for these things. I mean, we've done what, 60, 70, 60 of these now, give or
at
take.
least.
And I haven't worked out how many light years we've sent you travelling round the bubble, looking at all
That
these
might be a
rares.
fun thing to work out. Crikey, it's
We
gonna
have a
be
list
lot.
somewhere. Yeah. I mean, the light years you put on that exploration ship of yours. Well, I mean, what ship do you fly to these places?
An asp.
It is an explorer, not the scout.
Yeah, an asp explorer, not the scout. No, why would anyone fly a scout?
Engine noise.
The asp explorer has a very, very nice engine noise.
I just heard that last comment there. The Scout is a wonderful ship. It's really nice. Nice wee local explorer. You get a bit of engineering on the thrusters and it is very manoeuvrable.
Did you get yours cheaply?
No
Is that what it is?
No, I paid full
special
price for
bargain.
mine. No, I paid
The
full
advertising in the station works on you, doesn't it?
price. Yeah, it does, yeah.
I did notice that the advertising, by the way, has changed. That Imperial ships are now not being advertised in federal starports. I think that was in the patch notes from today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did hear that the DBS sometimes they put up the wrong picture and it's a Reliant Robin.
It was Trotter's independent traders on the side.
same
yes.
shape. Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was the Adder. The Adder always reminds me. These Apex taxis always remind me of a bit
the
of a.
Adder makes me think of like an old airliner or something. See that kind of, I don't know, that kind of it's got a 1950s look about it somehow.
Yeah, I sort of see where you're coming with that one.
If you think the Havilland Comet, it's a bit. The front of it's a bit
Oh, it's the
like
snub,
that.
the snub nose front.
The
Yeah,
snub
yeah.
nose
It's
front, yeah.
Comet was a beautiful aircraft.
well, haven't they got one that has a front a bit like that? They fly down to the Antarctic to rescue people when they do sort of missions with Commander Dog's Breath.
Very possibly.
Possibly. I can't remember the exact plane they were using. That they converted for emergency stuff down there. But we'll have to get him back on the show now that he's back in dry land and not on fire and in danger of sinking. We'll have to get him back on the show sometime as a guest to tell us all about this latest expedition.
And now that he's at a safe distance from non-breeding seals.
Yes, and obviously has managed to get transportation back from wherever they dropped him.
No danger of growlers.
You've got growlers and mumblers, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, well, look, thank you very much, radio team. Thank you very much. Commander Chix, have we got a forthcoming expedition from you sometime in the next few weeks?
Well, I'm on it now. I'm sort of heading south like Amundsen. I've been zapping weeds all week.
And obviously, now that you're able to sort of stop and get out at some of these places, have you found any new interesting stuff we've never heard about before?
Well, depends what you've seen from what other people have sent back from the nether regions. But yeah, some amazing stuff out there. Some of the planets. I've even found not just in the same area, not just in the same system, but on different satellites of the same gas giant. The terrain is completely different. The atmospheres, the sunsets are completely different. So varied. And the different kinds of exobiology you find. Yeah, still peeling back the layers of it.
Well, one of the things that we can absolutely be sure of is, life in the universe is prolific and tenacious.
And inevitable.
There is an awful lot of it out there.
Yeah. It might not, sort of be that recognisable to you as, hello.
Well, no, some of it glows mysteriously from the inside as well. There's definitely some
there's some fungoids.
Phosphorescent, yeah.
I can't remember the exact name, but it's a fungoid that grows, and it only grows in the mountains on fairly small worlds. So, if you remember, perhaps you don't, that Dr. K was talking about the size of planets and the size of mountains. Some of the very small satellites you get from some of these gas giants got enormous mountains, really, really sharp vertical faces that, if you're not careful, you slide all the way down to the bottom.
I've done that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, all the way down to the bottom of the cliff. I think that was when we were attacking that base, wasn't it? And I ran away from a Goliath and jumped off the cliff and slid all the way to the bottom.
But you turn a corner, into a gully or a ravine in one of these mountains, and all of a sudden you've got these like bright yellow neon fungoids, and it's like, holy crap, They're not hard to spot from a distance or from orbit even. Some of the other stuff, some of the flatter stuff like the bacteria.
Oh, the bacteria ones. I have such a hard time finding those.
Well, top tip on that is use your free camera as a drone. So when you're out in your SRV...
is that your selfie stick, as mentioned in the news earlier?
That's the one, yeah.
The one that retired Navy IT1 didn't hear because they were fast asleep.
Well, you need a generally the grasses, so like the tussocks and the shrubs, you need to be 200 meters apart from the previous sample at least, because you get entire fields of these things, and you can press the alternative button on your Dysonator with your thumb, and it'll send out a pulse wave, and you'll find that the stuff that's just over 200 meters is green, so you can go and scan it. And obviously the stuff closer than 200 meters away from the previous sample is blue, so you can't scan it. I think it's 500 meters for the bigger stuff, the tubers and the I can't remember the name of it now. The large things that look like overgrown impatient busy lizzies. What are they called? I call up my spreadsheet, but I can't find it.
The scientific names of them, I can't remember half of them. They're yes. Complicated, and it's easier to call them space loafers and dahlias and things.
We just had an update from
Fonticulula.
Right, we just had an update from...
Same to you, fella.
The concha. The concha are really
You got
weird.
an update from... Sorry, apologies.
Commander Beetlejuice says the holler is the talkie telephone. Kids pull along toy. That's true. It is.
Like
that makes the noise gunda.
Imagine instead on Hungry Hippos you had 4 adders instead of hippos.
I think I get mixed up with my ships as well, because the Asp Scout is actually the Reliant Robin, and the DBS is the Messerschmitt. You remember the wee KR-120s?
Messerschmitt car. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's more like one of those, I think.
So yeah, there's weird and wonderful stuff. I think the weirdest one I've seen is the Receptor, and you may have seen pictures of these, but they look like enormous. It's like an eye in a beach ball on a stick.
Oh yes, yeah, I've seen those ones. Yes,
they're really weird. And stratum, which actually look like rocks, or you think you've landed amongst a group of crocodiles.
Right.
An electricae are well, they look like like pylons with blue glowing lights and hooks, and there's tons of stuff out there, and I'm sure I haven't seen half of it yet.
Well, one of the questions I had is obviously in order to get your exobiologist rank, you have to get a certain amount of money, don't you? It's money based.
It is.
Is there enough stuff out there in the galaxy to actually reach the top tier?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, there is.
I'm halfway through Cataloger at the moment, and I reckon from what I turned in was just 17 million to get half of Cataloger. So if you work that forward, there's enough stuff. You might, the thing is, you find a planet and you know which genus it is before you go down there, but you don't actually know what it actually is until you go and scan it. So there's going to be different variations on the same.
Pink ones and blue ones and green ones.
Well, they vary by colour, but they also vary by shape and texture. A lot of the bacteria stuff does, I've noticed. So yes, tons. Just go out there and look. It's
well, we're looking forward to seeing whether you find any in these Hutton systems you're reviewing as well. Anyway, so Flossy, are you there still, Flossy? Oh, have we lost Flossy?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're back, yeah. And you're going to be keeping an eye on the CGs for us for the next week?
I'll keep an eye on them, yeah.
Yeah, now, if people want to find out how it's going in the interim, is there anywhere they can go to find... I mean, do you publish stats and information anywhere on our Facebook page at all?
Yes, I've got a Facebook event page, which I create for each CG each week.
So if you're doing the CG, it's always worth signing up for that. Because then, A, you know who else is doing it, and you could always wing up if you wanted, and B, yes, you put updates in there as well.
I do, yes. I put a daily update for how the CG is going.
Yep, and whether we're about to hit tier 8 quick, get the last things in there.
Yeah.
Yep. And Commander Palantir.
Yes.
Are you being entertaining this week, or are you a gentleman of leisure, or are you going to be flying spaceships, or...?
No, we're doing some gardening.
Some gardening?
Yes,
drive-by gardening.
Yes. Having bought a greenhouse to replace the old shed, we're growing stuff in there.
One of those old-fashioned aluminium frame glass not shatterproof glass.
No, it is shatterproof glass. Yes, I've got tempered glass with it. Evil tempered glass, but yes, it is tempered.
And little hatches in the roof so that you can cool it off in summer.
Yes, and there's chilies growing in there, melons, tomatoes, cucamelons. And
those are a strange flavour.
They are. Yeah. And a whole load of beans, a whole load of stuff. So.
Well, don't forget to take your Dysonator with you and make them go ping every now and again.
I've been doing that, and I've been taking me watering hose down as well, but I've been told to stop that.
Well, it is a secluded garden, so you aren't going to get too many complaints from the neighbours.
Well, not anymore, no.
And the apology officer. I mean, your stats for these things. It seems to be absolutely fine with all the changes for Odyssey and Horizons, though I do know they're tearing their hair out a little bit with the tick times.
Yeah. I don't have any new stats to work with yet, but I think that's what Antares Fusion's working on. So as soon as they're on Hutton Helper, I'll be able to do something with them.
I don't envy him that task at all, because obviously the Horizons, Xbox, PS4 Galaxy, and the Odyssey Galaxy are technically the same, though I think their clocks are a little bit out of sync. The one updates, then the other one updates a little bit later, occasionally.
Yeah, it is a bit like that at the moment. But I mean, in terms of the tech, that doesn't make a difference to my stats. You know, I'll get them when the weekly stats are up. So whenever the tick happens, my stats will appear and I can copy them across.
Yeah, I mean, it's adding up for a whole week, so
it's a whole week's worth. So I'm just waiting for the new stuff to become available, and we can start reporting on who's found the most flowers and who shot the most people on foot and who.
Oh yes, we've got new stats. Yes,
So
who is Jean-Claude Van Chix?
Yeah.
Or Jean-Claude Van Flossy? Yes.
Yes.
That's a good job.
So yeah, it'll be good fun, you know.
Oh, well, looking forward to it. Well, let us know as and when you've got new stats, because then people can chase new prizes.
I know, put it in with the other ultra clear stats that we use all the time.
And then, Aemilia, any preferences for the kind of mission we send you on next week? I mean, are you feeling something a bit more relaxed?
Would be nice.
Some tea, some Ethgrees tea buds or something.
Nice cup of tea would be nice.
Teas and tisanes. And little sandwiches with the crusts cut off with bits of cucumber inside them.
Yeah, either that or something insanely alcoholic.
Like
alcoholic
Hendrix
tea
with cucumber inside it. Yeah.
What, like Cecil? He's insanely alcoholic.
Well, insane and alcoholic, yes. I made the mistake of taking him out on a mission on foot with me the other day. That's an experience. He does get awfully upset when people shoot at him.
But, you should be used to it.
Right. Well, yes. Usually they just throw things and yell. But, like, what are you doing lying on my front step? And what on earth is that smell? That kind of thing. And my God, you're flammable, man. It's just, Right, well, look, that takes us towards the end of the show. Thank you very much to the radio team, to Flossy, to Commander Palantir, to Aemilia, to the Apology Officer, and to Chix. And we will be back next week, same time-ish, same place, probably. Same day. It will be Thursday. And for those of you who are confused by things like bank holidays, there isn't a bank holiday next week, so Thursday is in its usual slot. Other than that, Aemilia, do you have a word for this evening?
For the mug! Aardvark!
Seamless.
Journey too long, or cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lights the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the frame, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. No point 22 light years to go, cruising to no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, like you don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?